y'all, and welcome back to the Old Iron Talk podcast. I'm your host, Callie Gurton, and today we have special guest Alan Wolfe. Alan has been collecting John Deere tractors and lawn and garden tractors for the past few years with his dad, so we are excited to show you some of his collection and discuss what he's been up to. But first, we are going to talk with our producer, Miranda Adams, because we want to get her a little more involved in the show. How's it going today, Miranda?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. As you guys can see, Miranda and I were busy the past couple weeks, and we kind of changed the room. We became bricklayers pretty quickly.
We did.
I think it went pretty well, don't you think?
Yeah, DIY bricklayers. We didn't even have to watch a YouTube video.
We actually did not.
Not one.
Nope. It took us about, I don't know, the third, fourth row of bricks. We finally became pretty solid at it, but it did take us a little while.
Have you seen those TikTok videos of the bricklayers just going down in a line, knocking them all in with their knee? It's amazing.
That's what we did.
That's basically what we did.
We should have made TikToks.
Yeah.
I also don't know if you guys can see our nice new sign here. We've had some issues with that. We're hoping you can see it within the first few seconds of the show here, but that was a little difficult to get in time for this episode.
Yeah, that was a struggle for sure.
Yes.
Like most things have been for us.
We really are thinking we should start recording behind the scenes of our podcast episodes because it's always frantic. Nothing ever works. The settings are never the same. We're like 99.9% sure someone is sabotaging us. So I think it'd be very entertaining for you guys to see what we go through to try and get these episodes ready.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that.
Yes.
And it's sabotage for sure.
Oh, for sure.
It definitely isn't us.
No.
We're not the
problem. We
problem.
know what we're doing. Miranda's great. She knows what she does. So we are not the problem. Something's going on.
For sure.
Okay. Miranda and I have got some tractor jokes to start us off here as well.
Yeah, we do.
So, Miranda, what happened when the old tractors lose their wheels and they fall off?
I don't know, Callie. What happens?
They decide to retire it.
Oh.
That's winner right there.
I think that one fell a little short.
Oh, okay.
But, hey, have you seen the new film, The Tractor, yet?
I have not, but I've seen the trailer.
Oh, you've heard that one before.
I have, yep. Anyway, so we are very excited for this episode, and we are ready to start talking with Alan Wolfe. So if everyone wants to grab their favorite beverage, we can get to chatting. We're here with Alan Wolfe today, and Alan actually had reached out to us, and I reached out to Carl, who we had on a few episodes back, and I said, hey, do you know this dude? Because I had no idea who you were. And he sent me your TikTok, actually. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's an awesome guy. Look up his TikTok. So I did. And that's kind of how I got to know you first. So it looks like you've really grown your social media pages for sure.
I've definitely gotten pretty big the last couple of years as the showing off the collection and getting a fan base going.
Well, that's good. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to kind of start here. And can you kind of give us a background? I know you had told me your dad originally had started collecting. When did he start collecting? When he was a kid?
I guess to go way back was the family farm. Way back in the day was his granddad had a farm, and he drove a John Deere B literally every day. He did Ted, mow, everything. And ever since up until like the 80s when the farm sold out, and then he bought that B, he made sure it did not leave his possession because he grew up on that tractor. And we still have it. We do plan on one day restoring it when we get to it. But from there, I mean, my uncle used to work at a dealership, and he was kind of handed over the dealership, but he didn't want to be a part of it in the long run. So it eventually did close up. But my grandfather bought a couple of John Deeres from there. I actually still have one. My brother has the other one. And from there, my dad was just kind of stuck on John Deeres, and I got hooked on it at a young age. And I guess when two bad things come together, we're both addicted to it, and we're where we are now.
That seems to be a common consensus. You start with one, and then it seems like everybody says they get addicted, and then you've got what you got by the end of it.
Just what's happened with so many of them is they've actually come to us.
Okay.
So many, there's a local tractor show we go to, and usually every time I show, there's about a dozen old guys that'll walk up to me. Hey, I got this old tractor sitting in the shed. Would you be interested in it? And usually we do go get it. Mom's not very happy, but we go get it.
That happens. Okay, so I've got to ask, you sent us a couple pictures, and we've got one with a bee and a crawler on a trailer. Is that the bee you're talking about, or is that a different one?
That is actually my wife's restored bee, which
Okay.
I sent you a picture of our on our wedding day that we
Yep.
got married on. That is her prized possession. That was actually the first show we were taking it to. We were taking that and the crawler together.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
I mean, it was also testing the limits of the brand new trailer. That trailer was about 3 months old, so
Well,
it's a
hey, did it
big
get
deal.
you there?
It did. Luckily, it was
Oh,
only 15 minutes down the road, so it wasn't
there
that
you go. Not too bad then. Okay, so what was the first piece you bought to add to your collection?
bad. Jeez, there was just so many that Dad and I kind of split between most of them. He would kind of fork up the money to buy the tractor, and I would put in all the work to make it run.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess my most prized possession to jump to that would be my 120. I went and I bought that and I rebuilt it from the ground up.
Okay.
So that one's actually probably one of the earlier ones that I actually went and got myself.
That's very cool. So do you have more of an interest in lawn and garden tractors?
Yeah, I guess kind of the big picture of it would boil down to cost.
Yeah.
I could give up a couple $100 here or there to buy somebody's old lawnmower rather
Mm-hmm.
than, how many thousands into a larger tractor.
Yes.
So, but probably in the long run, we would have a lot less big ones if we didn't have so many of the small ones.
Yeah.
Probably outweighed the cost equally in the end.
Yes, I understand that. Okay, I was also wondering, let's see, you sent us a picture, let me see. And it looks like it's like overall of your collection. Is
Yes.
that it's got a lot of lawn and garden tractors and then a few bigger tractors in the back. How many pieces do you have currently? Do you know off the top of your head?
Somewhere around 60
Okay.
is where we kind of guesstimated. I try to do it used to be every year, but then it turned into like every other year when we could that me and a couple of college friends would I'd say, hey, let's take a weekend, let's get them all out. Let's get one big picture. I couldn't find I have an original picture from like 2014 when there was like 10 of them. So I'd say at least that could all fit in one picture that I didn't have to
Yeah.
stand on a 20-foot ladder to get above.
That's awesome though. Now on TikTok, I know that's what Carl sent me. That's kind of, I'd say, is that where you have your most following is on your TikTok?
That's kind of where I took off. I always had the collection and I kind of wanted to show it off here or there. I did a little bit of YouTube videos and I never put the time into it. And then TikTok kind of came around where, hey, I can post a minute video to millions. And I did a couple of videos and it took right off. And, just on Snapchat alone, I've got 400 or 500 people from around the world that
Wow,
talk to me about tractors,
that's awesome.
and I've met them all from TikTok. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really shrunk how wide it is and brought a lot of people together.
Mm-hmm.
It's how popular just tractoring is,
Mm-hmm.
as I call it.
Did you have one video that like really blew up, or was it kind of gradual?
I think I made one. I made a custom pallet fork, kind of a pallet jack, but I
Mm-hmm.
cut it down and I made it 3-point to fit on the back of my 400,
Okay.
and that kind of really took off. Everybody was amazed. How did you do that? How did you make it? How can I do that? And that's kind of been the basis of my channel and YouTube is explaining to people it doesn't take much. You just got to be really creative.
Mm-hmm.
I actually moved out of my parents' house last summer. I moved into my own place with the wife and slowly been trying to make room for the collection to come back up here. I can only bring one piece at a time to work on. Uh, So it's just working out of a little garage with a handful of tools and work using my tailgate as my workbench. I can still make literally anything. And that's
Yeah.
just trying to prove to people that with a creative mindset, you can make anything easily.
Yes,
Stuff is way easier than it looks on TV. It's
it is. Yes. Speaking of making things, you sent us a picture of the John Deere tricycle. Did you fabricate that?
no, the tricycle my dad had laying in the shop, and that's he got it cheap, and he's kind of been saving it for his like future grandchild.
Okay.
And we were actually in the process of making a couple of center blades for actual lawn and garden.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a scrap piece we had laying around. And I'm like, what, that
Okay.
would be really cool if we actually made that. That'd take a lot of pedal power.
That's for sure. Yes, it would. I wondered if that looked unique, so I didn't know what for sure was going on there. I noticed too when I was going through your TikTok page, you had quite a few TikToks about shows. So do you go to quite a few throughout the year?
I've just I've gotten a pretty good bucket list of shows that I want to go to, want to
Mm-hmm.
experience, you want to see, cross it off the map per se. I've been to dozens of them in New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. There's not too many in Vermont or New Hampshire. A lot of pullers, a lot of pulling guys out there. Want to expand. I like going out and seeing where you gals are of the central part of the
Mm-hmm.
states. See the different country.
Have you been to Half Century of Progress?
I have not.
You haven't. Are you gonna come?
I really am hoping to.
It's a good show. You definitely should. Yes.
It's on the bucket list that
Is it?
I'm gonna try to make it this summer. Load up,
Okay.
and we're gonna sleep in my livestock trailer with me and my college buddy. So
Okay.
we're gonna rough it out.
What about Classic Green?
Classic Green, actually, yeah, I brought that.
Oh yeah.
Got that in the mail.
Yep.
Actually, I still got to register the tractors that I'm gonna bring to it. My dad just made the reservations for camping,
Okay.
so we are definitely gonna be going to that
Well,
since that
good.
is yeah
We'll
60th
be there too.
anniversary.
So
That'd be awesome. That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, since that's 60th anniversary of the 110s. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got two 63s consecutive serial numbers I'm gonna be
Okay.
bringing
That's
down.
awesome. Well, yeah, we'll be there too. So that'll be exciting. Classic Green is always a good show. So we're excited about that. One thing too, that's kind of unique to our website is on Old Iron Garage, we've started sharing events for all shows all over. So
Mhm.
if you're ever interested in looking up any other shows, you can go on there. You can look by state, date, time, wherever you're planning on going. So you can see, like, if you're headed to Illinois for Half Century of Progress, you can look on there and see if there's any other local shows going on when you head this way.
You know what usually happens at shows? You come back with something that you're not supposed to.
That is
So,
also a common thing that I have heard. Yes.
yeah. So I don't know about putting more shows on the map quite yet. I always leave room on the trailer for +1 if
Yeah.
I never intend to fill it.
So what's your overall dream show, like, that you would want to go to?
Oh man, I've been up a lot of everybody's been telling me to go to Portage,
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin, I believe that is,
Mm-hmm.
to the big lawn and garden show. I mean, I've seen some pictures online that I hope really don't do the show justice, but I think that'll be a next year kind of show to go because Wisconsin that's a bit of a drive from New York. I'll not say that,
Yeah.
but it's just stuff to make it worth it that if I go out there for the week and the wife is in charge of the hotel rooms and destinations along the way.
That's
She
probably
loves
a good thing.
shopping. So we'll stop at the mall occasionally here or there. That way we can stretch our legs, see the scenery. So she's good for that. I just want to go to the show, but
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I've got to ask you now. You seem like a John Deere guy, but you sent us a picture of a Farmall H and a International 350 on a trailer. What's going on there?
okay, that was a good friend of mine at the local show that I took the bee and the crawler to, and he lived up the road, but he didn't have a trailer big enough that could haul both of them. So he
Okay.
politely asked me to haul them, and I had no problem hauling them. The only problem was the wife did get a video of me driving one of them to load it on the trailer, because so I don't want that circulating around too much.
Yeah, that's the wrong color, so I wasn't for sure what was going on there.
It'll look good on the trailer. That's all I got to
It
say.
does, yes. You also, we did get your stickers, so thank you
Yes,
for
I
sending
see
us
them.
those.
That's
We got
awesome.
Wolf Den's stickers.
Mhm.
Is that kind of just like the name that you've given yourself? Is that what you use for social media, or how did you come up with that?
Well, my dad used to build furniture, wooden furniture. He had kind of a custom cabinetry making shop going on up until a few years ago that he kind of retired out of it. And he always called it Wolfsten Furniture.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the Wolfsten, and we're gonna change it to tractors. And I've been wanting to lean towards John Deere only, but it's like it's a tractor community. All brands matter in that
Mm-hmm.
instance. But that's kind of what stemmed to it, is just following what my dad did.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. You also sent us the Husky 1476 with the loader on it. Is that yours?
Yes, that is
Okay.
a custom project that I got from a guy between home and my drives to work. I'd drive by it and I'm like, someday I'm gonna stop by and see what he wants for that. And actually, recently, before I bought it, his dad had passed 3 months before, so he was trying to clean out the house as that just sat in the driveway. And so we made a deal on it, and I brought it all the way up north with me when I moved. And I V-twin power, put a V-twin Vanguard engine swap into it, and I got a set of pallet forks on it now, and I use it quite a bit. It's actually been very handy for what it is. So I'm glad that I could save that and get it back using again.
Yeah, that's awesome. We also have your picture of the patio series, which the story behind those, you can share some detail on that too. But in the late 60s, John Deere came out with this series. And I know their kind of marketing ploy was to get the wives interested in the tractors and get their husbands to be like, oh, yeah, go buy me that orange or blue or red or yellow one. And they also kind of use that as a ploy to say, like, you can match your car with your lawn and garden tractor, your boat, whatever. I know it didn't work out the greatest because it started in, I believe, 1969 and they ended it in the 71, I think it was. So that didn't quite work out for him the greatest, but I know they have become very popular nowadays. So do you have all four?
Well, I've got a few more than four. I haven't quite gotten them all out yet, and that is actually the plan this fall. I've been trying to work with friends and stuff of that may have the other ones that I am missing, but it's actually I call them the Sweet 16, which they did all four colors on all four models.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, that didn't work out too well. They've become quite hard to come by, especially a few of the models. Luckily, I've got friends that do have them. I do technically have 15, but that's because I got 5 of the 140s.
Okay.
But right now I have a leads on 3 of the patio 120s, and I've got a friend that says he's got 2 more. So maybe I can borrow one for a little while.
There you
That
go.
my goal was to have the Sweet 16 on the East Coast, because I
Okay.
know somebody had done it quite a few years back out in Iowa. And I'm like, that'd be really cool. Just another bucket list thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did the whole 200 series. I got that off the bucket list. I've got just about all the 100 series. I've got
Mm-hmm.
every year round fender. Uh, it's bucket list of trying to put them together as a whole. And then we'll probably end up parting with quite a few of them to hopefully go to better homes that can make them white again. Because actually, a couple of them are still green.
Yeah, I saw that in one of your pictures or on TikTok. I can't remember which one. So I also saw you shared a picture with us where you have a 100, 200, 300, and 400.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite series of the lawn and garden tractors?
I mean, the the 110 kind of series is of the best there is, which would have been probably the prerequisite of the 200 series. It's just what started it all. The 300 series are the easiest to drive, in my opinion. They're, attachments are best to use, operate, tons of power, obviously bigger engines and transmissions in them. But, I don't know. I always find myself falling back on the 400. That's always the first one I grab out of the shed for some reason. So I would have to lead that 400 towards my favorite, because I think that was the first one out of that four that I got a hold of, and I completely rebuilt it. My dad did the paint job on the hood, because that's the second hood that's been on it. We had a minor incident coming back from Ohio, so that's
that'll happen. What is the most important lesson you would say you've learned from the collecting hobby?
Always be open-minded. Never be afraid to learn something new literally every day. There's something that I discover I didn't pay attention to. Hey, there's a serial number break, or there's a part number difference. And I guess one of the main things I've kind of learned is John Deere they were good that they wanted to keep improving their tractors. And by doing that, they changed something every year on every model.
Yeah.
So when you try to be a purist and look for the details, like, oh, well, this year had it, but that year didn't. Well, I got to change this color knob. So it's best to be open-minded, because no matter how much you think you're right, something or somebody else is going to pop up and show up with something that's just going to prove it completely wrong, and then you got to start back over everything you thought you learned.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's definitely very true. Okay, how do you see the younger generation impacting the hobby?
I'd say the biggest challenge to the younger generation is the older generation trying to accept them. That's the biggest thing that I've seen coming up the roots, is people are forgetting where they started from, where they came from. A lot of kids nowadays are buying the newer, junker kind of machines and trying to fix them up in their backyard, whether they're just having fun with them, fixing the neighbor's lawnmower. The biggest challenge for them is, I guess, acceptance into the community. I know kind of where I started from, as with just a few here and there. And actually, I still have it quite often that I'll talk to an older collector, and he'll only talk to my dad. He won't even look at me. And then my dad, if he asks a question, my dad will look at me like, hey, you know the answer.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know. I do the hard work. You get the credit. So
Yeah.
But
no, I do agree with that. It's definitely harder, I would say, for them to accept the younger generation coming up into the collecting world, and they definitely tend to doubt younger generation too, even if they may have the answers. So that is true. Yes.
Yes. I try to give whenever I sell something, and I see a younger kid show up to buy it, I always try to be as nice as I can, throw in a couple extra parts, pieces, explain to him, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what you look for. Don't be afraid to message me with a question. I try to help as much as I can to keep them going, because the more they learn and the more they're interested, the more these tractors are going to survive. I think that's what everyone's forgetting. You don't accept the next generation, guess what? All your tractors are going to end up in the scrapyard, sadly. But that's
Nope, you're not wrong. So that's great. That's a great thing to help instill in the younger generation as they continue to come into the hobby. So that's good. Okay, one more question for you. Where can listeners find you online?
Where can't they?
Okay.
I guess I started on Instagram. I changed it. I got Wolf's Den Tractor. I try to post on there as much as I can. I mostly post on TikTok. So if you've got TikTok, for some people, they don't have any of that. So you can always look for me on YouTube. I'm trying to post more, just because I can post longer, more detailed instructional videos about how to do stuff more detailed. Don't be afraid to ask me a question, message me on Facebook, add me on Snapchat for the younger crowd to have it. more than willing to help. Obviously, with over 400 people, sometimes it can get a little overwhelming when a dozen so start messaging all at the same time. But yeah, Google Wolfson tractor, see what pops up. I hope to be the top mark someday.
Now, do you like sell parts, or is it more of like if you have it, people can reach out to you type of thing?
Yes, it's kind of people can message me, and I might have it, I might not. I can sometimes, most of the time, I got to ship stuff out because it's people from other states that can't find them. I don't post too much for sale because of the hassle. Obviously, a lot of people you got to deal with on Facebook. You get some oddballs.
Yes.
Even when you're going to buy stuff, you get some oddballs. But actually, I've been trying to. I tried doing an instructional video on TikTok of how to do it themselves, but this is a heavy duty air cleaner kit that a lot of people put on their 140s. And I've kind of cornered the market on making the mounts for them and putting them together. And I tried showing people how they can do it themselves, but everybody seems to keep messaging me, "Hey, can you make me one of them?" And actually, I gotta make about 5 more. I got coming on order. So.
Well, that's awesome. Maybe not awesome in the fact that they keep wanting you to build them, but
I guess I'm good at something.
Yep, there you go. All right, I think we're about out of time. So I want to thank you for joining us here today. We'd love to have you back on. If you ever have anything you want to show off, if you're working on anything in your shop, just shoot me a message and we'd love to have you join us again.
Heck yeah, my pleasure.
Yep, thank you again, and we'll see you at Classic Green.
Yep.
You can find all the source material for our episodes on our website, oldirongarage.com. We encourage everyone to join us on Old Iron Garage to connect with other collectors. Again, we would like to thank Alan for joining us today, and we encourage everyone to give him a follow on TikTok at wolfsden_tractor. We encourage you to submit your collection photos to info@oldirongarage.com to be featured at the end of our episodes. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.